has to end. There is no world in which OpTic can continue being a top team.
Surely.
And lose every match.
Surely.
It just can't happen, right? It's statistically improbable.
Well, it is their map pick now heading into split. Finally, the pistol round underway.
And I think it's that is to say that it would be a phenomenal achievement for Guild to be able to 2-0 OpTic here, or frankly, to take the series at all. It's not the case that OpTic have taken their foot off the gas too much. And let's take a look at the pistol. OpTic players bunched up around A.
Line up here for FNS. Where does that one go? High up into the sky, I imagine, just clearing out ramp. The Prowler actually latching onto a particular target, somehow finding its way all the way up into heaven.
Prowler's got hops.
Yeah, apparently. Now the nade, though. Position's going to be spotted there from Russ. Has to just back away on his legs to avoid the paint shell that was just gliding through the air.
And this is going to be a split to put pressure on Coldamenta.
Oh,
he has no idea these guys are up behind him.
Contact play through the two of them there, though. Reactions in the end. Crashes is finding it. Flash forward, Safe will dodge it. Moving to the side, and now the rest of his team's going to be backing him up. Gliding across the screen. Headshot collected there onto Crashies. Now FNS, though, with a quick pivot, and Ye's been able to take some space.
What a fast mid-round call there from FNS and Ye. So opportunistic in terms of the map control that they're taking. And FNS is going to go for the plant as Ye covers him.
Got to hold down this angle, though, and the players not wasting any time on the Guild side of things, are they? Horn dropped up, Ye. Okay, FNS, he collects it, but not anticipating the player from heaven. Squeezing him at the same time. FNS, great timing with that swing, left alone in a 1v1. Russ, though, he finds his mark.
Great pistol round for Guild to be able to pick up, and they have won a bunch of them in the series so far. It feels like they get out to a hot start at the beginning of every half. It has really been an issue for OpTic that coming into this tournament, they're actually the second worst rated team at pistol rounds. And that's out of everybody at Masters. They're the defending champions. So there's definitely some work to be done there. And it's going to be a force. OpTic have been doing this, maybe not a force actually. There was some buying of Spectres happening.
No, it still is.
2 Sheriffs, yeah, it's still going to...
Yeah.
It looks like it. Ye just investing into his Headhunter. Still saving up some of the money. A lot of the North American teams have been doing this.
This is a fast play. All 5 players going to be grouped up, potentially looking for something there. Yeah, fault line sent flying out through. FNS has to back away, though. He was tagged up by the cam. Prowler catching on to Leo. Do they still want to commit into this one?
Victor still has double blast pack available if he wants to do something aggressive. It's a similar feel to their pistol round. Oh,
look at this mid-take by Club. They are not wasting any time, but already the OpTic players going to be capitalizing. Safe falls. More Cypher setups for them, but this fast flank, 2 players in sewers. Creeping and crawling right now. Guild could be getting an absolute pincer of a lifetime.
They are going to meet the trademark, and if it gets smoked off, I think the rest of OpTic are going to be able to hear.
They should hear it, but they are just holding it. Are they going to be aware enough to try and watch this one? Fault line through. They hear the players running. No one wants to risk it by going through sewers.
That fault line as well, very interesting. And a little footstep in sewers being made there, the slosh of muddy feet.
Not sure if they heard it.
But at the end of the day, the Guild players are going to be here ready to collect. Russ does quite a bit of damage.
Coldamenta up close and personal. It's Marv who gets the trade, though.
And these rounds are so chaotic. The mid-round
seconds
calls, the pivots.
They're going back to A?
Yeah, they're going back to A. These audibles off the back of the space that Ye is taking.
This is, I mean, just pure chaos.
It's going to be down to Leo. No utility.
He's at the back of the site. Surely they know it hasn't been properly cleared. There's 13 seconds left into this one, and Leo, I mean, he could do more than damage, honestly. He could just convert the round for his team. Spike's going to start to go down. He bides his time. He waits it out, and he drops them right in time. Not enough for them to convert it. In fact, give him 3 kills on top of it. Why not?
Perfect round for Leo.
So smart.
He is such an intelligent player. It's sublime. It really is. He's got that intelligence to not contest the spike too much. You could see him getting up to a push position at elbow. So
a lot of players there, Josh. A lot of players, they overplay it a little bit, honestly. They probably inject a bit of pace into it, trying to catch it.
Yeah. Or even expect the plant to be happening safe, so they fall into a back position, anchoring the site, which then would mean that you have no opportunity to punish Crashies. That's OpTic's economy immediately in the bin. A Spectre bought here from FNS, but that's the only real threat in the round apart from Ye's 8 headhunter bullets.
Early wall. Just going to start to get chipped down. A couple of pieces removed from it, but Guild sitting in such a powerful position right now. winning 2 rounds here, defensive side split. And off the back of OpTic forcing into the economy can really start to get building. Bit of spam, okay, the timing not quite the best, but sending him in a bit of that utility in. A quick pickup of the rifle, the weapon there, the Spectre. Well, it's not coming up to much good, still call him into traded places. Yeah, he's gonna be falling.
Yeah, he didn't hear the cancel call there. Victor's thinking about going in.
He's all over the place, you've got to be joking, man. Teleport's right in front of the hall. What is happening?
He's going for the TP out of the sight, trying to play the advantage. And this map has descended into chaos already. These first 3 rounds have been so scrappy.
Yep, delusional plays all around.
It's all down to Victor.
And he's just being squeezed from side to side. Leo up top. If he didn't get it, Safe would have. Beautiful work.
Yeah, they're being pushed to the edge, though. These calls in the mid-round are catching Guild out, but they're being able to find the crucial kills, the crucial plays when it matters. And it's now 3-0. If you want to talk expectations, Bren, or perhaps win conditions for OpTic, normally their defense side is significantly better than their attack. So they don't need a ton of rounds on this side. But they'll be looking to put up as many as they can. At least 4 on attack side split. What you're looking for, I think.
You can feel the frustration building for OpTic.
Yeah, one glance at FNS. No longer the calm, cool, collected figure that he was in that Reykjavik final. Feeling the pinch a little bit here.
But they do have some rifles to work with, even ultimate, potentially coming online with a couple more as well, just behind it. But Victor Showstopper might be looking to get some work done with that. The issue is Leo holding the Rolling Thunder. And this is a bit more of a passive wall from Russ. That is the double face. I mean, Guild were ready for it. In fact, the spikes dropped. Positioning gained. Marved with the lurk. Has to try and find his mark, but he's on the ropes. Just slightly inaccurate. It's Russ who wins it out.
Oh, and it's a catastrophe for OpTic.
This has fallen to pieces.
They absolutely
shambles.
Dribbled into ropes there. They fell to pieces trying to clear that area.
Where was the other player dropping off onto the box?
Yeah, no double swing, nothing. Nothing to punish that. Not even a glance into rope before Victor started taking that space. And Guild's timing could not have been better. Both in terms of that fight and the other one happening in B-Heaven. This is going to be OpTic's economy. Trashed. So just straight again. A prime gaming flawless. A delightful prize for Guild to secure in the 4th.
Yeah. Witnessing history potentially repeating himself with OpTic steadily losing control of the series. This is their map.
One enemy remaining.
He needed to come out strong off the back of losing Icebox.
Yeah, they would have loved to keep up some of that momentum. I mean, I say momentum. It was a comeback in the second half.
It was, yeah.
They did well. They got a bunch of rounds under their belt.
Brought it back to a respectable scoreline.
They didn't win. They didn't force overtime. So the fact that they're 0-4 down right now, and not even 0-4 with a reset economy, they're looking to go down 0-5.
Every single play that Guild do is purposeful. Look at this now. The space of the boom bots. And honestly, even if Trex didn't get that pick, the trade probably would have been there from Coldamenta. Though, did they expect this one? Marved finds his way in, holding the angle. Now the Rolling Thunder. They want to retake this space. Done in play, Leo. You've got to be careful. One bullet, even if he is slightly inaccurate. From the Guardian, that would have just put down Leo still.
Last player standing.
And Bren, even when Guild get caught off with the timings a little bit there, even when Leo throws his ultimate out and doesn't anticipate that someone's looking further along, they're still getting away with it. And they have a good enough read of where OpTic are pathing around the map to be able to punish them.
I think their reaction is pretty fantastic so far with this series. Been looking at the state of the economy as well. I've noticed every time, half buy for OpTic Gaming, you see Russ just place that wall in mid. He knows it's not going to be bursted down by rifles.
Yeah.
It's little things like that, just the decision making across the board with this team that means that, you know, they are just getting that edge over OpTic Gaming.
And listen, FNS has all the experience, you know, Coldamenta as well is getting on a little bit, but Leo, the young player that's coming out here at his first LAN event, 9-1, fabulous game in map 1 as well. Showcasing why he deserves the respect to be in the conversation as one of the best initiators in the world, perhaps the best initiator.
I mean, all that talk as well, the banter between Stacks and BCJ.
And who was talking about Leo? EMEA fans.
No Of course, Victor operating off the showstopper now, but a slow orb has really just brought him down to a crawl. Lets it rip into the elbow, but so much to being cleared. Is anybody watching that high ground perch? Oh, the crossfire now, just impeccable. Russ anchors it down, making sure to follow up on the rest of his team. Paranoia sent flying. FNS is left scrambling, wondering how the hell am I going to end up taking this one.
That entire site hit really lacked the pace. Spacing getting broken up so heavily by the slow orb there, by people peeking all over the place. And Guild, with a couple of players in front positions, will not allow FNS a sniff at the 1v3. Guild win another of these rifle v rifle rounds, and OpTic can't get a look into this. Ye begins the map 0-6.
You've got to be joking.
Ye has only gone negative in a series twice in his career with OpTic. And this one, if it ended in roughly the same way, if we do see Guild take a 2-0 here, it would be like something you've never seen. And the Guild players are hyped.
They're feeling it. Everything's on their side here now.
OpTic seem like they're really lacking the neon, honestly, Brent.
Yeah.
That site hit when it went into A. Victor isn't double blast backing in. He doesn't really take any space. The trade is limp. They're not able to get in.
They just seem like they are scrambling for the answers.
And lacking a bit of confidence, too.
I said at the beginning, you know, it's the simple comps that Guild are playing.
Down mid.
At its core, exactly, that's really where it comes from. Making sure you understand how to play it, making sure that you're using your abilities and taking space effectively.
Marv has worked his way into a crazy position here, but he would have a lot of work to do. Yeah. Oh,
That's a great flick. Not much health to work with though, and yeah, it's the rifles, it's a difficult task. Just up to Ye now in mid, but it doesn't look likely that he's converting this. Seen him do it before, but...
You've seen him win a 1v4 before?
Probably. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Happens often enough.
Not one like this.
No, and not this series, honestly, either.
No, it has not been his game. It has not been OpTic's day. Guild are in control. Guild are in the driver's seat. Guild are forcing the timeout. Leo and Coldamenta, two big players. Now that Safe has taken a back seat, right? He's playing the Cypher. He's not in the chamber anymore for this map. Other players are stepping up, but some that were still having phenomenal performances on Icebox. A combined 22-5 from Leo and Coldamenta to start things off.
Yeah, respect to Coldamenta as well. This guy has been playing lights out early on in Icebox. He's been unreal here as well. A lot of calls that are being made for this team. What they've been doing, taking space as well, the contact pushes as well on the defense side. He's been honestly having a great time of things.
And coming up with creative ideas that are catching OpTic off. Yeah. They pushed mid as a reaction to their A hit. They pushed out B main on one of these rounds. They've stacked mid. I'm sure they have some trap plays up their sleeve as well. As Mimi was talking about, this comp, you can run a trap play off stick a cam in rope room and then breach ultimate as soon as you see somebody in mid. There's tons of different stuff. Showstopper into it with a trap play. There are endless options with a composition like this, which is why it's been such a staple of EMEA Split for so long. Not one that Guild have had too much experience with, but one that they look very comfortable on.
I think that early start as well on Icebox, getting off onto the right foot against a team like OpTic Gaming, the right circumstances really aligning with this one, but they have come to this prepped, feeling themselves the experience that Coldamenta's got under his belt, all those lands.
You want to play? Let's play.
Russ going for the mid wall, but it's not an eco round for OpTic. However, Guild have been fighting mid so heavily that OpTic aren't really there to break the wall as it's put up, and have to return back to mid in order to break a couple of segments. Yeah, he's got his tour de force as well, Brent. He is statistically by far the best attack AWPer we have in the tournament, by such a long shot. But he just hasn't been hitting today. We'll see whether he can make the difference.
Recalled off. Oh, the Jiggle Pig Coldamenta eating so much damage. Escaping with his life though, TP's across.
And he's gonna get the heal.
A recipient of that one, and the refreshing of this one way. This is so brutal to try and push through. In fact, even if they want to commit into this one, guess what? Cypher setup in play. And Safe isn't even on this same site. He is miles away. Crashies is holding on to this His ultimate is null command. This is fully thinking ahead here for Guild, always planning ahead.
Yep. Victor runs into one of the trap wires, but will easily break that. We're going to see Guild go for one of their retakes. They were working with some degree of success on Icebox. I can't say it was fabulous, but they still have Paranoia to be able to work with. If Coldamenta can get into a good position, he's just going to ult for a little bit of information and sees that there is one player back.
Stunned and nade right into the back of the coordination. Oh, it's so good. Victor just about scrambling for his life, climbing up to the boxes, but Trex, oh, he's going to be double satching right across, resets the M from on high. It is absolute pandemonium, but seems like OpTic might just be rewarded. Still the aftershock. Leo, you've got to be joking. Up close and personal. Crashies finds it. Around on the board, Josh. Very similar scenes to what we were witnessing on Icebox.
Yeah.
7 rounds in a row for Guild last time as well.
It was 7 rounds in a row. OpTic finally respond, and one of those few rounds that OpTic were able to get, again, came down to that initiated duel, the clutch between Crashies and Leo. Crashies wins it again this time, but I just love the way that Guild approached it. The stun was amazing to combo with the nade onto Victor, but then also the way, the angle that Trex chose as he double blast packed over.
His aim gets reset instantly.
And you get to spot Victor in a vulnerable position. Crashies, though, good for it. Holding on.
You've got to be joking. What is this pace? Okay, maybe a bit unplanned.
I mean,
Potentially.
Trex is permablind. He can't play the
Permablind
game.
and also stuck in a really, really awful position, but the nade now to try and at least get him out of there. The knife. Oh my goodness, Trex.
How is
No
he
man's
alive?
land for him. Is he going to be able to skip away? You've got to be joking.
Ridiculous that he makes it out of that.
So much being chucked at him there. And all that pressure in mid, I guess what was happening? Russ gets a free wall off towards A main.
But it's not a great wall. This wall is still going to force Guild to keep an eye on the A ramp walk. It's not as good as that deep wall, but it still gives Guild a pretty good idea that they can stack over towards B to start things out. And at any point here, you've got to be worried about Leo's ultimate.
Players double dropping down. It's a kill for safe.
It is much more diligent from OpTic, but it still leaves them going 1 for 1. And look at the response immediately from Guild's IGL.
Mid-rounding is so good.
It is very good from Coldamenta as he and Russ take B main, knowing that there are multiple players up near vents. That smoke is not going to help you cross, but it might throw off any player that was able to hear it. Great shot from Marv, though, to give them the player advantage.
Yeah, the positioning not quite known, as you can tell, but okay, a flick from Russ, slow up, drop down, and time is running so low. 12 seconds here. OpTic need to try and get this spike down. Coldamenta was contemplating something. TikTok-esque play, but planted just onto the other side of default. Still, headshot being found. Marv will trade it. There's the 3-piece for him. Trex left alone.
Oh,
and he get it, not quite.
It's all Marv.
It really is. He's the one who's been dragging them forwards into this series. Icebox, he was the one who was putting up top numbers to try and put them back in contention in that last map. And now, I mean, he's doing it again.
Yeah, he was the only player that was playing as you'd expect from somebody on OpTic when it came to Icebox. And that's a 4K where he just simply wins every duel. He was offered multiple opportunities to take a 1v1, and even with Bulldog in hand, was able to shut down every player he met on Guild to secure them that round. It was another one that gets incredibly dangerous. OpTic's attack side is really lacking something here. They're making do with what they've got. Again, getting up to 4-5, I think, is where you want to be if you're OpTic. You need a little bit of a cushion because these pistol rounds have not been going their way.
What they might be lacking is that extra firepower that normally they've been able to rely on time and time again. Yay. He's sitting at 0 kills with 10 rounds in on the 10th round.
He's still on 0.
Still on 0.
Yeah, that is absolutely abnormal. Safe, getting
the timing. Wow, okay.
A very,
opening.
Very bold place to be using his cam, actually. You'd expect it to be tucked a little further.
Yeah, just...
FNS, assuming there's only one person there because of the cam, just runs into Leo's arms.
Coldamenta's retaken up this position, this perch. Paranoia. Gliding that one across, just sidestepped by Marv. He's going to be dropping down a couple of stars now. Plant, into the back, into the nade. Crashies, always praying. Whatever deity you could think of right there. Surviving on 11 health as it was just colliding with the back of him now. But this angle by Victor, that's impeccable. Nade rebounding off the top 4 players left alive for OpTic to try and convert this one. It looks like they're in pretty good post-plan positions, but Victor, he's whacking his head. Making me eat my words.
And that, I believe, is Ye's first, as he's able to take down Russ and stop that from getting extremely dangerous. It's the exact same story as Icebox, Brett.
Yeah, it is.
7 on the trot, and now 3 on the trot for OpTic.
We're going to be seeing the timeout from Guild around the same time as well. I think it was, what, 3 rounds won by OpTic?
Something like that, yeah. And for Guild's defensive side, it's not like there've been massive holes in the defense or any major problem that they need to shore up. I think it's just about throwing something new into OpTic once more. This, obviously, bit of a mistake for Safe there. They heard the cam activated, thought he might be tucked in the corner, and decided to go for a bit of a gamble.
Time of being taken, but yeah.
And I apologize, that's Ye with 2, rather than the 1
Yeah, I must have misread that one.
Right there. He got,
you can blame me for that, Joe.
He got an
It was
opening
me that
pick
said he
earlier.
was on 0 kills.
No, I think
it was disrespecting the star of America.
I think he got 2 in the round, actually. I may be wrong with that.
Listen, it's late, you know? It's late. I'll let you get away with it.
Trex is going to be picking up the operator.
No way.
You just simply don't expect it. He has a showstopper to work with too.
Really
to try and
don't.
challenge the guy from close range.
And Josh,
well,
you
he is
said it.
suppressed.
He is suppressed, but you were talking. Guild need to be throwing in an extra element, something unknown into this one. That's certainly one of them. Operator in the hands of him, he gets that first kill.
I was expecting them to go for a trap play off the back of Breach Alt or possibly the showstopper as well.
Yeah.
But that certainly works.
I mean, there was no jiggle to spot for it. You can tell that OpTic were not expecting it. It was just a slow peek into it.
And OpTic are failing to deal with the wall and the Cypher utility. Guild are getting way too much good information from the wall remaining up for significant periods of time and the trips and the cam not being broken. Guild know there's nobody deep in mid. They don't even need Coldamenta to be there to know that. And they have a cam that can just permanently watch A heaven.
Gotta try and deal with this one. Okay, Trip's gonna be taken down. That's a suppression there onto Safe, but angle being taken. Flash into the back of the side. He's still alive. Needs to lock it down to the elbow, but he's left just looking this way, that way, left and right, whatever he can do to try and lock down these players that are just swarming onto his site. OpTic coming up huge this time around though. Ye with the angle and a flick of the wrist. He catches that one player gliding across his screen. That's now Victor showstopper in hand. Kill taken away from him just before he could be rewarded with 1, so that will be officially a -8 for the records, but
yep.
still
Write that one
around
down
on the board, they're happy.
Chat, write that one down.
We know you keep a track.
And now this is 4 in a row for OpTic. So similar to map 1 in terms of teams going on streaks unanswered. And it's another mistake from Safe, I think. Looking really uncomfortable in that anchor
You can
roll
tell
on
he did
Cypher.
not know where to look.
Yeah, it really couldn't find a timing, and even when he got a good timing on the peak into A main, he couldn't land a shot, was a little timid with the swing.
Yeah.
And that's strange to see after such a magnificent map 1 from the player making his debut.
You are divided.
Looking like a fast play though, potentially.
Is it?
From OpTic.
Or is it some kind of
Spike's
fake
been
that they're
dropped
throwing
down.
out?
Yeah, the spike is actually miles away from them.
And there's 2 players pressuring over towards A main as well. I'm not sure what Guild are going to make of this. In fact, they just vacate both of the sites. We'll play retake and just hold on to the middle of the map.
No space being gained on the other side by the players over towards A. I think maybe just hoping that the Cosmic Divide alone is enough to try and pull players and rotations, but the trouble is, I mean, there was nothing else behind it.
I think they might have been trying to bait out the showstopper from Trex. Looking like it was going to be a fast play or hoping that the showstopper would be used on one side of the map. And now as things slow down, it's much more difficult for Trex to get that timing, get that read.
Ramp control being held down though. That's Coldamenta. Just
What
working
a
his way
contact
around.
play.
Timing. Oh yeah, he's watching it. The angle's there. Still planted for the heaven control though? Yeah, I mean, Trex just knows where to spam.
Absolutely perfect, and Trex wasn't able to use his nade or his showstopper. He got suppressed up by the knife.
Can't now.
30 seconds left.
Gonna be the res in play. Wall to try and block the line of sight angle. No one can punish it. But OpTic do have that spike down. Yeah, he's gonna be smoked off now. FNS holding close, showstopper into the back, right into the smoke. Oh, Boomboard even just catching a bit of that damage onto it, but the kills are still flowing. Victor repositioning, pushing his way through. Now Marved off to the side. He knows as players just swarming the side. Off into elbow. Victor, satchel over the top, tries to get a favorable engagement, tries to get a favorable fight. The reset, 36 health remaining. A kick. Okay. Quick tap of the spike. Safe finds it in the end. Moves to the side and he gets that round on the board. 8-4 is gonna be the half.
Great save there from Safe. Towards the end of that half, after a couple of mistakes,
Switching sides.
OpTic certainly have woken up. They are online, they're playing well. You could see that in the duo play between Victor and Marv.
Yeah, let's hand it over down to the analyst desk. Listen, I'm not gonna mess up the toss this time, even though I kind of just butchered my words.
It's okay, Brent. We all make mistakes. Welcome back to the Analyst Desk, folks. Golden Boy here alongside with Mimi and Bala. History has found a way to repeat itself, Bala, as we are right back where we started.
Yeah,
8-4, Gilder up.
Yeah, it feels exactly the same as Icebox.
Yep.
And even in this case of a lot of the players on OpTic, too, I think some of them that are coming alive towards that tail end. Ye, for example, who was 0-8. Leading into that 10th round, get his first 2 kills. He finishes 5-9, which is, you know, actually respectable given the first bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, again, the rally back at the very end from OpTic, but at the very start, it was Leo all the way through. This guy had a fantastic map, 270 on the ACS there. Numbers aren't everything, but having that individual performance on top of how good he was doing to support his teams. There were some nice plays comboing between him and Trex. We were worried coming into this match about him, about Trex, about these very young players that were having their debut against the best team in the world, against the reigning champs, and they have just stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, they absolutely have. And Leo specifically is setting up so many of these trap plays with the camera of Safe that they're playing in middle, but that was actually something that OpTic started to abuse down the line. That round, for example, they actually re-trap everybody from OpTic who was there. They leave the spike, and then again, Leo with this great utility is able to completely trap the rest of them. But towards the end of that half, FNS was calling strats that were avoiding him completely, and that utility was becoming null and void because they were finding entries on the A side.
I think it came back to the matter of Guild was showing us something new. They went back to the Cypher comp. That's probably not what OpTic was expecting coming in towards this matchup, so it took them a little bit of time to warm up into things, but once they got the idea, once FNS felt the pulse of the matchup, he was able to make the correct calls to avoid those trap plays and find success. And for Guild, they really struggled to adapt around it. That last few rounds, the momentum was building for OpTic, and Ye as well. He's again having this rally back in towards the lighter parts of the map.
Hey, you know, he's having to rally back, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from this Guild team. They're putting it together, and it feels like they got some magic brewing. Let's send it back over to Brennan Sideshows. They bring us right back into the action.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, let's get right back into this one here because Guild, I mean, they can see the finish line. A tremendous lead heading into the second half of Split now for them.
It's all about the pistol. OpTic are a beast of a team on defense. It's where they find all of their success. I mean, if you're looking at their most recent few months, they have a under 50% win rate on attack, but 60% on their defense side. So this is where you've got the defending champions at their nastiest, especially with a raise fade comp now. So questions are certainly going to be asked of Guild. When the previous map ended up going to 13-11, we were saying the whole time, you need to close things out. You've got to find those moments, those opportunities, and grasp them.
The composition at OpTic are running a lot of opportunities to try and deny some of that fast space that might be taken, but Guild are anything but fast. The way they play the openings of these rounds. It's cautious, it's slow, but it's what they know best. Still, just a shoulder peeking out, and Safe has ended up going down there. Just a headhunter, but it's rattled through straight into the wall. But now Guild want to go a bit faster. Oh, finding it, Crashies, Frenzy, and Victor's going to be rejoining and helping out the rest of his teammates. Flash over the top, Codamenta, no clue where he was going there. Didn't quite know himself, but that's a prime game in Flawless and a pistol round secured for OpTic. Josh.
They're first in the series.
Yeah.
They've lost every other pistol,
Certainly
and now they've actually finally got an opportunity to start some momentum in the half. And a lot of this off the back of Ye being able to pick up the first kill, and then Crashy's hitting a pretty nasty second shot there onto Leo. Cleaning things up.
Yeah, a bit of a frenzy moment for him. We'll give it to him though. And you are right, Josh. First pistol round they've won in this series. Something to get them back on track potentially. Obviously still down in this map.
And Guild not looking for the force, didn't get the spike plant down. Not a ton of money for them to work with. So instead, just seeing if they can set up a quick pick there off the back of the fault line.
Just taking the fight, honestly, straight up into mid. Was safe there, but FNS, the rest of his team, making sure he locked that one down. The numbers advantage was there for Guild. Just trying to take that one, but Quire have the guns.
Safe has acquired the Bulldog and could do some damage. The more guns you're able to get out of the hands of OpTic, the more you weaken their bonus round. And OpTics are already fairly poor. Over the last few months, they've only won a quarter of their bonus rounds, which isn't particularly great. But weirdly, Guild have only won a quarter of their anti-bonus rounds, which is shockingly poor. So, I don't know what the numbers are telling me this time.
Yeah, well, what are you trying to read into this?
I've stared into the abyss, and the abyss has stared back, Brent.
You were just, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it was just
The spike. 30
noise
seconds
in my
left.
brain. You're just rattling it off, but alas, the one thing I do know is that OpTic, they win out that round. It's not the cleanest, obviously, but they do keep the 3 guns going. They pick up the Bulldog again.
And these are the moments where you'd expect OpTic, when they have the Neon in their comp, to go for something really aggressive. They like to do, fault line into a main, and they'll have Victor charge towards the defending players, or the attacking players, rather. But with the Raze Fade in the comp, they don't have access to the fault line or the flashes necessarily from the breach. And they're not going to probably be double blast packing Victor in either. He's playing over towards mid. Looking to throw an early nade and deny some of this space away from Russ.
Incredibly deep nade. So we want to repeat this one. Yep, Smoke dropped off into mid. Prowler as well. Positioning. Has potentially known, but he doesn't want to spam through. He's got the Vandal in hand. The Tracers will give away his positioning, but doesn't stop Guild anyway. Just trying to support it. Swapping the weapons around because Victor's low on HP.
In the meantime, Safe. That's another good headshot, actually. A lot of damage onto these OpTic players. Going to soften them up for the mid round. It's still 3 and about to be 4 players fighting mid.
Just whiffing on the boom bot there. Happens to the best of us.
He was checking to see if Marv was still in B heaven.
Sure. Of course.
Like, bro, do you like my boombot skin?
Yeah. Well, not only did the boombot clear a place they were already holding, but Guild were just missing it when they were trying to kill it.
Victor getting caught. That early initial spam damage finally resulting in a kill. And throughout this entire round, Ye has been able to get them good information over a day. He pushed forwards aggressively,
30
broke
seconds
Safe's
left.
cam right at the beginning of the round, which has now come back online. And yet, OpTic are rotating to try and assist him, despite the fact they haven't seen anything really at A main. And this is going to isolate FNS.
Time. 17 seconds. FNS is alone. Paranoia dropped down. He's going to be repositioning just behind the box. He's waited out now. That flash is impeccable, but Guild already and waiting still. Are they going to be able to get this spike down? They have to commit it.
Nope.
They have to stick it. No time.
They don't have time.
Marv survives, and that's it. That's going to be the round secured.
Oh, and that is devastating. Guild is still going to have a fine economy because they keep every gun.
What a bizarre round. What an absolutely bizarre round.
Yeah, that's an incredibly unusual round. And Brent, that might be why Guild only win a quarter of their anti-bonus rounds. if stuff like that is happening, I guess it's technically a Red Bull clutch from Marv,
We'll give it to him.
who just had to live. The boy who hid in a staircase and lived in order to win.
Yeah, just survived, didn't he?
But the play was made there by Crashies. Flashing FNS in from CT to see whether FNS could make the play.
As well,
and the fragment grenade was the thing that really did the business. But it hasn't actually hurt Guild too much. They've still got a great economy.
Yeah, he's just trying to weather the storm. Just a boom board and a flash. Prowler is good information for OpTic. They know that there's a player lurking around A main. In fact, even just honestly just having the minerals to try and stick that one as well with the orb in play. FNS jiggling, so now they know the players are working their way around A main. Guild. I'm gonna try and go with a bit of pace here.
No charges.
He's off to the side. And the shot clearing and Prowler as well spotted, and the fragment. It's just honestly the exchange of utility from both sides. But it seems like they do want to try and go fast. FNS is right up close in their faces. The wall dropped down. No player playing on top of this one. Is this Guild coming out on top? The spray transfer.
Down A.
Okay, Victor. 2 kills for him. Eventually will fall, but Cold Dementors ate a ton of damage in the process.
And look at how fast this flank is from Ye. Without a trademark to cover the flank, Ye's been able to get into this position. And Safe and Cold Dementor are barely just getting set up. It is a nice smoke.
Oh, he knows the positioning. He knows the cam, he can hear it. That is the angle found. In fact, the footstep on top of it. There's Ye. Getting Morden on the board. Finishes up the round for them. And OpTic have evened this up, Josh. It's 8-8.
And these are the problems OpTic are a very potent team on defense. They didn't show any of that on Icebox. But Split is a much more defender-sided map. It focuses on the strengths that OpTic like to bring to the table. And this is them trying out a new comp that, as far as we can tell, is leaning into the meta, which is Raise Fade. Gorgeous spray transfer by Victor as well. And Ye from such an unknown position. I mean, you can tell the way that Safe is in his cam here. He just doesn't think anyone's going to be coming A ramp.
No, doesn't expect
At least
it.
not that quickly. And now these OpTic players are fired up. A bit of grit, a bit of fire coming out from FNS there. Gritting his teeth and pulling his team through it. Rather than the frustration that we saw painted over their faces earlier.
Yeah, even forcing Guild now to take this time out. Discuss what's going wrong for them, because it's been steadily slipping away from them. You remember that it was Guild 7 rounds up.
And actually, there were some positives to take away from that, from Guild. I think they forced out utility very early.
Yeah.
The Fade Seize came out, the Fragment Grenade wasn't comboed with it, they bled both of those tools out, and then they paranoia'd and pushed in. What they didn't do is have any effective utility onto the site anchors, and FNS Crashy's Victor were able to play off each other by pushing through the smoke at Heaven, and you know, Victor gets a spray down off the back of his timing. Normally when you're watching Guild play, they're going to be slow, meticulous, but when they actually get to a site, their utility is very good. You're going to be seeing fault lines, paranoias, nades connecting with people. And that's missing a little bit on their attack rounds so far. The site anchors have been able to get away or survive or buy enough time for someone else to come and help.
What is going to be the adaptation here? Slow open, a bit of a TP back there.
Yeah, that's just
It's
faking.
a sound fake, right?
Yeah, it's a sound fake to make it feel like Coldamenta's TP'd into B main and taken some of that space away, broken the crossfire, or not the crossfire, but the angle that Ye might be holding. And instead, Guild pivot over after that one piece of noise.
The Prowler's used.
But over here on the A side, all they've heard is the Cypher utility. One cage has gone over, the Prowler saw one person. There's no reason for OpTic to believe this is a full A hit just yet.
Wow,
until now.
It comes. Yeah, they're getting that position and that space stunned up over the top. Trex. Oh my goodness. The crashes in FNS. Oh, okay. Left unaware. Did not expect that one. Right over the top, and Coldamenta still with this angle. Victor with the jump peak. I mean, optimistic.
That's ambitious. That really is.
My goodness.
But you got to make a play if you're in a 3v5. I respect it, Brent.
Yeah.
I respect it. Overall, though, what an entry from Trex. I mean, that's what they were missing in the previous rounds, is someone boldly taking space and able to punish the side anchor, able to get up and take the space off the back of the good utility that they're throwing.
The timing that was being taken there by the entirety of Guild, honestly, was pretty good. Wasn't really waiting for the clock to boil down to the final 30 seconds before they made their move. It was just cages down, feign it's only one of us, explode out into the site.
Right, but that little piece of sound over by B is kind of crucial.
It's good,
because
right? It drags the players over there. Keeps
yeah,
them.
it makes OpTic think that there's still a default being run, when in fact the Guild players are already grouping for a slightly faster paced round that ends A. And Crashy's, the reason that he looked so lost, he's got utility in his hands. He's ready to throw utility to stop the site hit. He's not ready for it. He doesn't expect Guild to be that fast. And he thinks they're still playing the default. Very nicely executed site hit from Guild. That's what you know them for. Yeah, they could run something similar again off the back of the showstopper.
Absolutely. Most importantly, a round as well to try and stop that momentum that OpTic were getting. You can see the round history there.
Yeah,
4 rounds in a row for OpTic, so yeah, huge. I mean, very streaky is what this game has been. This entire series. But they've got the tools, like you were mentioning, that showstopper in the hands of Trex. If they wanted to try and take space early, set them up in position.
And it looks like OpTic ready for some kind of A-pop once again. Victor and Marv just spamming through the smoke. And Trex and Coldamenta hit the floor.
Yeah. Collecting the pickoffs for them. Now, Russ is one away from the resurrect, but I mean, he'd have to either get a pick or an orb, try and get it online.
I don't think he's going to be going for an orb at this point with a minute down and no extremity control. Suck nade is nice from OpTic. Almost found the timing.
Push them back. The aftershock though, does Leo want to try and take the space? And the angle, they're spamming it. Players hold this one, but still. Oh, Marty keeps his nerve, still holding it, wrapping around. Victor, that's a showstopper. And he doesn't quite have the crosshair placement to try and remove Leo.
I think that's another official -8 as well, Bren. Not really finding the value, but they have slowed Guild down and they've got information on where they're playing. And frankly, I think OpTic are fine playing a retake here. They still have their Fade ult, the Null Command to be able to work with. Those are really good retake
30
ults.
seconds left.
30 seconds, Knife gonna get dodged though, safe. Just breaking that trademark. He wants to just inject that uncertainty into the round because now with 20 seconds remaining, time running so low. OpTic, okay, it was up to Ye. But now Marv's still left alone, tucked away into the corner. We've been in this familiar situation. Hello, Russ. Players eventually dealing with him. Nightfall to scatter across, and the Prowler's going to be latching onto one of his targets. Spike is down and planted, but they know the positioning and they can just spam efficiently and effective enough with the retake.
Yeah, good work there from FNS with his ultimate, catching a lot of people. But bit of a bizarre situation for the spike to be hand-delivered into the corner there from above.
It was almost like Russ just didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hello.
Yeah, Russ just, it was like a stork with a baby. Just dropped it on the floor. Package for you, sir.
Yeah, don't do that with children, please.
No, I mean, that's not a good idea. not a particularly health and safety conscious urban legend, is it?
Spike planted.
9-9.
Fast approach by OpTic. Not wasting any time with this retake.
Yeah, a good way of getting value out of that ultimate, I think. The Nightfall, dropping people low, making it so that they can't tell which direction you're retaking from. And Guild are going to start this round with a default again. It seems like Crashies is holding his ultimate to dismantle Trex.
Yeah, the game of chicken almost, right? You just... Crashes doesn't want to use it when a hit's coming in. He wants to hear that sound cue from the showstopper, but...
Nice to see that Ye still has the confidence after a bit of a shaky day to be detected by the Boombot and decide not to immediately rendezvous, still searching for a duel in mid, still confident in his own abilities. Safe, forced to break that knife, lest it reveal 3 players from Guild who were grouping up with the spike for a moment.
It's angle by FNS.
No one checks the flower pots.
Yeah, and it's just Crashy's taking contact. He's jiggling off onto elbow.
It does look like this is going to be a site exec over towards B, however.
Smoke at the top, including the cage, and now the nade. This might be just pulling a couple of players, or at least keeping the ones anchoring on A there.
It's really good from Guild. They're so aware of this, and here it comes.
Yep, that's going to be the ult popped off.
But it's going B.
It is. They are aware of it. Mavs was holding it, and in fact, he's got the angle locked down. Rolling Thunder. It's Leo just trying to make the most of it, trying to help the rest of his team. Flash sent straight through the pillar on top of it, but still FNS. It's a wraparound. Does he expect a second? Gliding across the side. That's safe, though, with the kill in the end. Time. Oh, it's running down so low. Coldamenty sticks his own ultimate, and now he's on the other side of the site. This is pure pandemonium in play, but a spike will get planted.
And it's a plant that is just gonna be seen from heaven, but I think you might be able to stick that while still being in cover. Having said that, very wallbangable. There's a fight here about to happen on both sides.
On to anything.
Guild getting the better end of the one over towards screens, and Ye left with it all to do in the 1v2.
Drops down, spots the one player. Does he expect this one?
He's just going to get spammed here, surely.
Off to the side, the spam tries to reset the aim, not enough. In with half on the defuse, Coldamenta takes him out. Another round on the board, steadily just trying to keep this lead in the series.
And another great round from Coldamenta. Yeah, the fragging has cooled down a little bit. 15-13, he's broadly speaking gone negative in the last third of the match, but his calls have still been fantastic. The influence he's having over the game is masterful. It's not often you see somebody out calling FNS, but it feels like across the series overall, both have had very good mid-rounding, but Coldamenta's been particularly impressive. I think the decision to go for the fake into A was really nice there. With Trex working alongside Safe to really sell that and allow them
enough pieces there
entry into B.
OpTic had to respect it. In fact, even a showstopper being committed into it. Pulled out that null command as well, but a timeout for OpTic.
I think OpTic have chosen this music to hype them up.
Yeah, apparently.
Get some gusto back in their game. So they're going to be on an eco when they come back into this, and it's not a great position for them to be in. I haven't said it yet in a while, Brent, but OpTic still haven't won a map against Team
They
EA.
still haven't won a map against Team EA.
And they're looking down the wrong end of a 9-11 split. Sure, they're still on the defense side, but Guild are finding masterful rounds here and there. And it seems like the recent pace is enough to get them across the line.
Yeah, full respect to Coldamenta with the calling and the numbers that he's been putting up here.
Yay still struggling, 8 and 12. Like I said, there've only been 2 series where Yay has gone negative since joining OpTic, and they've only been marginal. It's been like -1, -2, that kind of thing. I don't know what the numbers are just yet for this series, but it's not looking anywhere near that.
No. Honestly, these are the kind of rounds as well where you expect players on the chamber like Yay to be able to turn up with something, headhunter bullets, even if you are on the eco and a half buy, the ultimate in your hand. Still, just trying to jump through. That's Marv. One shot from the shorty. Fires up the second one for good measure.
Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. Players just eviscerated. It's going to be the res committed, including the wall to try and keep them safe, but that's utility drop down. Fragment nade just hits the one side of it. Players just loitering around inside of this one, though. Coldamenta's cutting it up as well as he TPs across. Ultimate's still being committed. The Cosmic Divide holding close, tugged into the corner. Marv gets a second, flashing over to the side. Crashy's now responding with one of his own.
He finally gets dealt with, as there was a player trying to wrap around the other side of Pillar.
I mean, they've committed so much into this round.
Yay is taking a look with the tour de force. If he can find a pick, this might become winnable. The smoke, excellent from Coldamenta to cover the cross.
How do they approach this one?
I mean, you know the positions they're likely to be playing. Backside, Pillar, B main. So that's the spot. Oh, those are the spots, rather, that Yay and Victor are going to be trying to clear. They find the first.
Yep, there's the first. Do they expect this player to be just hiding behind the default? Doesn't look likely.
And Guild find the kills they need to clean up a dangerous one from OpTic. 11-9.
That's so unusual, the way that they ended up using and committing the ultimates and the abilities in that one. I mean, that Cosmic Divide just splitting the site up. Normally you see it sent the other way round.
Sure, sure.
It did get dangerous, though, but at the end of the day, Guild are still going to be steadily leading in this map.
This was the shutdown. I mean, this was, yeah, Marv grabbing 2 kills with the shorty. Just being able to be dealt with towards the end. Yay at the bottom of the scoreboard's going to be taking the operator over to ramp. Safe hasn't been playing this one aggressively. The only time that Guilds are taking A control is when they pop into A. Or are faking it for a B hit. They don't like to work A ramp just with Safe playing solo.
So cages have been going up, it's been usually leading into those hits.
Yay's job, generally speaking, is just gathering information. He's not really had the opportunity to be too active in these rounds. Victor, however, is staring down an army facing him at mid.
Yeah, spam back and forth with the weapons they've got. Just bullets flying past each other's heads.
And Guild plays such a cautious, slow game. It can be very difficult to get good timing for your Raze and Fade utility. You don't want to waste it, but you can't wait until they're on top of you.
So one thing this comp does lack is a tool that they can try and take contact with. Tip-tap, Victor tries to reset the game to find the head, but still working his way across. Trex, an attempt was there to try and capitalize. You can see the satchel play.
Good movement from FNS, though. Swinging in to go and help Victor, who's stunned up. Covering his teammate. And now they drop back.
30 seconds left.
Contact's re-clear. It's going to be the wall, and now, okay. The shock to push any player out of hell. Position moving forwards. FNS is really just getting the kitchen sink once again. Chucked at him, the swing from on high. Kills being found and time running so low. Marv still anchoring it at the back of this pillar. Spike has to go down. In fact, he's dropped the player who was just in possession of it. Not enough time to work with. In fact, with Crashy's supplementing that one as well. The crossfire is found at the end of the day. So back and forth between these teams, Josh.
Yep. Great anchoring by Marv, but also fantastic play from Victor and FNS, pushing the very edge of what they can get away with without themselves being punished. And that's the kind of stuff that Guild are going to love to do. They'll find where your setup is, and they'll try and break it. They're looking to punish you for getting a bit over-aggressive. See if you go for an info peek and try and double face. But things are getting sticky once more. This was an 8-4 half, but this time the script got flipped a little bit. 4 rounds into the away, and that's a Seize nade.
Yep, and yeah, heal's not going to be saving you there. Damage being done, Russ gets dealt with.
Brilliant play. They haven't comboed the C's with that, at least as far as I've seen.
You are joking. Whoa. Beaten face to face.
Spike down. Flawless.
And that was FNS actually using the Nightfall, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
which
ult's being
seems
committed.
a little bit strange against the eco round when they've already got so many kills. We'll see if that comes back to bite them. OpTic were 1 away from making overtime on map 1. They've now mounted another comeback. A second comeback in the series. Forced Guild onto a timeout. And here's a replay of that Season 8.
Oh, yeah.
From the victim's point of view.
And they know that Russ has been peeking this angle.
Yeah.
It's happened a couple of times where he's just been trying to take the space.
Enemy remaining.
Marv has still been playing fantastically. I know that this round he was just mopping up the ecos, but look at him on the scoreboard there as he got a little flash. Yeah, 22 and 14. He's the top fragging player in the server, despite the fact that OpTic haven't been doing so well. And I think that was the same case on Icebox. He's also nasty in the clutch. And his form has not dropped off since Reykjavik. You're looking towards the other players. But for Guild, the pressure is on again. Because you cannot afford to give OpTic more bites at the apple, more looks in this series. They simply cannot allow this to go to Ascent.
No.
Maybe they could win, but when you have the opportunity right here, it would just be devastating.
To put an end to
morale
it against the champions of Reykjavik.
Yeah, you're just flipping a coin if you allow it to go into the third map. Guild need to find some of those awesome rounds, those set strats. That white-hot form that was carrying them early.
Got to close it out here and now. If possible, try and regain that lead here because it's evened up. Ults to work with. Leo obviously with that rolling thunder.
Oh, look at this nasty position from Victor. Hiding up in this corner. He is 1 kill away from his ultimate.
I think he's done this once, has he?
If Victor is able to get a kill here, he can instantly pop Showstopper and destroy a B hit. And the spike is indeed in B main. It's really unlikely that Leo uses his breach ult to clear that close left position. We've seen Guild though, they go for the default and then they pick a site, so it might not be going into Victor just yet.
Slow and steady, they're leaning that way, Josh. In fact, look at Victor as well. He's got his back facing the wall as well, anticipating this flash that might just come through from Leo. Okay, facing back again.
He has a teammate to play off. Marv's just looking for the jiggle peek. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to check this corner?
Rolling thunder through, double satchel play, and that got the information. Wonderful fundamentals at play here for Guild, but they still need a bit more than that, and they're going to get it. Leo's flash.
I know
Be supplementing it. Trex, an easy kill handed to him.
Awesome site exec. Exactly what you need to see from Russ. A player that's honestly been struggling a little bit recently in terms of his online performance. High amount of first deaths, not been able to get any kills on the board. He's looking amazing here at Masters. Exactly where his team needs him. Oh, Leo needs to dodge this fragment grenade though.
Yeah, dodge and juke away from that one. That fragment did end up finding the pick, and now down to the 2v3.
Surely this round can't get that dangerous. With Safe on the lurk as well.
No way. Crashes collects
No
it!
way!
What is that? Crashes with a flick to the side. He should not be favoured there.
How has that round slipped away from Guild?
A crossfire from main and to the back of the side, and you have a player flanking.
And the flank was read so quickly.
I gotta see Crash's POV there.
That's absurd.
How did he react to that player up in heaven?
Take a look at it.
What is this? Beautiful shot. And it's just a crosshair placement. I mean, he just expects it.
Yeah, he's just too smart. He is just too smart. And look at what it means. Oh, Marv, hyped up about that one. And I've got to be honest with you, Bren, that feels like a dagger to the chest of Guild. Do they have what it takes to drag this into overtime and finish what they should have done earlier?
Can't let this opportunity be squandered away. That is not going to be a -8. I am not sure how he's got that one. Explosion just bending around the corner, I think.
Trex has been talking to the devs.
Yeah.
He knows something we don't.
Summons that play still. The fight is fast. Right away into the site. Flash off to try and at least push the players back and away. Plant going down. Crashes, he's got the ultimate available. That knife is going to be tagging onto 4 players. He knows already a way to jiggle. Is there going to be any coverage? Locks it down in a jump peek as well with the classic in play.
And what a response from Guild.
12-12, OT.
A question asked of them and an answer delivered. Guild still have the fire. They're still counting themselves in this game. Trex has been simply a monster to get them to OT. Those last 2 rounds, even though they lost one of them, his engagements into the site have been crystal clear, unbelievably clean. Double blast packs, finding and adding that tempo into the game that Guild sometimes lack. But I've loved the way that they've played with pace in this map and the match. Not just showing us the slow side of Guild, but adding some of that excitement in as well.
The hard conditioning that Guild, when they play so slow as well. I mean, when they make those fast plays, those big execs, you don't expect it. You're not ready for it.
Talking about not being ready for something, Guild have got a 4-player stack over at A.
Brought an operator into this round as well.
Hard reading the A play, stunning up Crashies, and I think Crashies is very lucky to get away with his life.
Very lucky to get away with his life. In fact, information gain now for OpTic. They know that they purchased this operator, but do they expect this? Over the top of it, how does Russ collect that one? Victor just about saw him, but to spam the angle, I'm not sure what, but Russ survives on 30 health, and then, I mean, he's backing away, heals himself back up as well.
But I don't think he realizes these players have already got into B heaven, assuming his wall would stop them for a moment.
You've got to be joking.
And Leo just wide swings. They're not afraid of Yay.
It's just pure confidence. Huge advantage heading into this first round of OT.
Awesome mental game from Guild to not count yourself out, to not allow the OpTic comeback to feel like an inevitable decline. They still believe.
Mark has been the one to try and bail out OpTic over multiple points of this series. Sits at the top of the scoreboard, I think, even right now for his team. He's been putting up the numbers, but it's going to take more than
30 seconds
risks,
left.
I think, in individuality right now. Tip-tap, FNS gets that space up into A heaven, but no one anticipates it. Yep, the crossfire is there from the flower pots. That is going to be the prime gaming floor. It's not going to matter too much. The economy going to get reset now heading into the other sides of OT, but Guild, once again, on the precipice.
First match point for Guild. They've been looking on fire. They brought out something brand new for OT.
Yep.
I haven't seen Russ playing that angle before. He's been boosted on top of his Sage Wall a couple of times, but I don't think he's been peering over the smoke
The extra
in that
element
kind of way.
needed.
I called him into calling a 4-player stack towards A. I mean, already, they haven't reached the end of their playbook. They're playing against OpTic here and putting the defending champions on the ropes early.
They're fired up, and look at this space! What is that? Instantaneous punishment!
Trex!
Yeah, he brought the operator into it, but that was a paranoia. It was a double satchel play at hand, and Russ, of course, is there. Steady is the hand, but FNS wants to cancel it out! You've got to be joking!
What is that spray control? FNS
Oh
deciding
my
they are
goodness.
not losing this one.
Not just the leadership factor, not just the communication, but he's got that ult online.
Let Daddy frag.
Dude, it's just absurd.
And look
Leo,
at the trail,
the
leading them like Hansel and Gretel.
Points exactly where he's going to be leading.
Breadcrumbs towards the breach.
But it fades away now, and Leo, the mantle of responsibility on his shoulders here.
He's been playing sublimely, and he can just about give Marv the haircut.
The crosshair placement just backs away from the timing. The haunt, the angle, they're being found! Oh my goodness!
And FNS has to finish it!
The tip-tap, the reset! FNS, what a performance! The high-pressure scenario, the IGL for this team. He's not known for putting up the highest numbers. He's not known for those amazing moments where he's able to just rattle off the kills, but he does it here and now, right when his team needed it.
And that is the thing with these teams at Masters. If somebody is having a weaker game, Yay, by the way, still only sat at 10 kills, which is just phenomenal from him. There have to be other people that step up. And usually you're looking at, you know, does Victor have an insane performance? And then OpTic look unbeatable. His Crashy's playing well. Marv has always been consistent recently. But the fact that FNS just pulls out a 4K round, blasts Guild away, tapping people down in A heaven and hitting some nasty sprays. I mean, look at that one. A mental rattler.
Looking like it should have been the closer for Guild. It should have been the difference maker in that round. Close it out in OT. Take it out, finish this match in 2 maps.
That's the first match point that Guild have squandered. We saw a number of the map points on Icebox slip away from them. seems like they're lacking a little bit of that killing blow, the final predatory edge that they need to put OpTic away. But they will have more opportunities here. Starting on the defense side again. How deep does the playbook go?
At this point, Josh, I mean, listen, when you get into the OT, at this point, you are just throwing anything at the wall. Something to just really catch the opponents off guard, I think, and it goes for both sides. Whatever can give you that edge.
Pretty similar kind of defensive setup here from Guild to what we've seen in the past. Safe throwing his Cypher utility over on one side of the map and playing the opposite. What an interesting wall, actually, that Russ has put up, stopping them getting into any advanced positions on site. I mean, they could still plant for heaven here, but it's all a bit of a ruse.
Yeah, a lot of utility was just launched over towards that one direction, but it's the contact play called by OpTic. Two of the players, Marv and Ye, just trying to make the most of it. How are you getting away with that one?
He swings into a blast pack.
Just absurd. Should not be favored in it, but OpTic clean from them. Every player still surviving, up to Coldament to see if he can pull off a miracle.
And that's a really nice round. OpTic running a bit of an A fake, taking a ramp control, breaking the tripwire at the top of a ramp towards a heaven. And by the time the trip gets broken, there's already 4 people heading into the B site. Going for a contact push.
No way.
Wait a second. This would have to be a 1v5 ace for Coldamenta.
Horn spots the positioning, and yeah, just a little bit too much to deal with.
I think
wouldn't be the first 1v5 ace on split we've seen, Josh, but
I think it speaks buckets to what Coldamenta's been able to do today that I thought that was in any way doable.
Yeah, I'll show that respect. I'll stop talking.
But now Guild have a serious challenge. And this is where you often see the experience difference. These are the moments where there's a ton of pressure on the line, because you really want to put away OpTic in every opportunity you have. And yet they've been able to mount comebacks on both of the maps. This one getting to OT. Now OpTic in a position they've been in many times before.
Yeah.
For Guild, the first at LAN.
And that experience, I mean, showcases itself in the resilience, I think, for OpTic to be able to make their way back into this series.
Camera taken out.
One more round away from taking this map, bringing it to map 3.
Guild looking like they want to set up for another one of those B pops. They were previously only doing this kind of stuff when they had the breach ult or the raise ult. So they don't quite have the same amount of utility here.
Prowler deep in mid. Leo sent flying the flash. They're just taking all the space. No noise being made. Leo's holding this angle down.
The
just
timing.
Missed it.
I think Victor saw him.
Victor definitely saw him.
And now the timing is just amazing.
No way.
There's no shot. Safe survives.
Angle being watched. Maybe a footstep possibly being heard, but they don't overstay their welcome. It's the kill and they back out. In fact, they give the information to Marv and he's set up to succeed. Still, Trex is in. Double satchel play. Just try and break that crosshair placement.
Trex!
Looks it once more. Leo supplementing it on top of it. The spike will get planted at default. That gives him the showstopper online and sends it flying right against the back wall. Down to just Ye. The 1v3. The jiggle peak. The positioning is no Coldamenta. Tip tap as well, the positioning just resetting, but Trex is far too clean with it. Safe hands from him, 4 kills in a round. Another section of overtime.
He's simply been amazing on these side hits. 3rd OT coming up, and Trex and Leo at the top of the table, as we were anticipating with Guild's debut at LAN. Look at how quickly he gets in off the double flashback. Marv's an amazing side tanker, and he's still playing it incredibly in the series. 26 kills is the top of the scoreboard for Marv on both teams. But Trex gets past him, in behind, and look at the expression on Chet's face. He knows that's a round that they had the opportunity to win. But it's Trex and Leo bailing them out. And as much as OpTic have these clutch players, and you're looking at Marv and Crashy, sometimes Victor, Guild appear to have them too. And that was a bit of a question. It's always going to be a question for new players when they turn up to high-pressure scenarios like this.
For sure.
But wow, Trex and Leo are delivering.
I mean, these guys are delivered. Completely.
So now Guild take a timeout. It's their job to get up to match point and across the finish line. And you can see how much that Coach Barber's trying to influence and help Coldamenta's IGLing when it gets into these deep scenarios.
upbeat and cheery is the music, but yeah. Pressure on. Pressure is on. 14-14 is the score in this map. Multiple rounds of OT. But Guild have just been making it so difficult for OpTic. It goes both ways, really, doesn't it?
Definitely does. Oh, there's Ye with an opener. That is fabulous. If there was ever a time for Ye to wake up, it would be now. Still only 13 kills in 29 rounds.
Russ?
And Russ with an immediate response.
I mean, making this the 4v4. Let's come up with a massive one. OpTic, though, look at this. Trail spots the player. Prowler's going to be latching onto his target, but it does get broken.
But it lets them know that Russ wasn't inside ropes, holding the top of ropes, push more towards A ramp. These walls, though, from Russ have very rarely been getting broken. And I said that that was a big problem for them when we looked at OpTic's attack side originally, when they only got 4 rounds on the board in regulation.
Yeah.
They weren't breaking the Cypher setups and they weren't breaking the Sage walls. The same can be said here. Just vast amounts of information being gained from Guild. And the wall and the trips and the cam allow their players to be more flexible with the positioning.
Exchange of utility. Much more slowed down as the pace, but this wall's going to start to expire. Cracks within it. You can see them now just trying to shuffle their way into the site. OpTic will take advantage of this one. One player just trying to anger down the side. It's up to Leo. See if he can do some damage.
There's the
Trex,
backpacks.
Yeah, just hop straight past it. Line of sight angles that might have been being watched. 20 seconds remaining and they're taking the spike the other direction.
Yeah, the audible called. They're going into Russ.
Right into Russ, is locking it once more. 3 kills for him.
10 seconds left.
The damage. Oh, it's more than done. FNS not enough time. Can't safely clear it out. Can't even get the spike down. And that is going to be Guild. Getting that 15th round here on Split.
The second match point for Guild.
Match point.
Can they convert off this one? The defense sides for both teams have been looking really good, but neither team can put an attack on the board that really works for them. I suppose not exactly the same. We have seen it go back and forth both times, but as an overarching theme of the series, that's been the case. They need Trex to pop off, as he has done previously. That's been their win condition on the attack sides for Guild. Trex gets in somewhere with a double blast pack and is able to get an entry for them. Ye deciding not to go with the glass cannon operator, just a Vandal in his hands as he watches towards B main.
He has to respect, though, that utility that was just launched at him. The fault line and the slow. And Guild, they operate straight into a contact play.
A lot of footsteps heard here by
You've
Victor.
got to be joking. Victor takes that angle, takes that swing, gets the one, but eventually traded out anyway. And now just backpedaling, trying to remain at the back of the site. The double satchel play from Trex. He's paranoid up. Can't see a thing onto the site, but he's got to try and make sure he deals with these players. Marv whips out the free gun, but now the line of sight angles, it's there for them. A fast retake, crashes, he flashes straight through. They just can barely get their bearings, but now down to the 1v1 Guild. Moments away, Leo, ultimate online, rips it across, and what a finish! Leo finalizes it, 4 kills for him, and that is them besting the Reykjavik champions.
What an insane performance from Guild.